Nini everyone, Zabora here. So, I got asked to do this book review about Demonic Magick, and the reason why I got asked is because some of the entities listed in this book named as demons are Egyptian deities. Okay. So, obviously I don't agree with that thought, but hey, whatever. It's your beliefs there, dude. So, anyway, I did the review, I uploaded it, I set it to private, and I talked to a friend of mine. And I was like, hey, if you know what's going on with this, because I got asked to do this book review, blah, blah, blah. And she told me, oh yeah, I've read that, and I don't think the person who contacted you is one of the authors. She said, I think the person that contacted you is part of the group that parrots everything they do in order to mock it and sort of try to expose it for being some fake fuckery or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, so they parrot everything, but it's kind of like a parody type group. They just repeat everything and try to make it sound ridiculous to discredit them. So I went and I read the book again. And it's basically Lucifarian ideas, or at least the authors claim that they're Lucifarians. And they believe in the Judeo-Christian idea of God and Satan, sort of. Basically, God and Satan, though, are brothers. They're equal opposites. And they worship Lucifer, the devil of the Judeo-Christian mythos. So they did include all of the pagan deities and stuff like that, or a lot of the pagan deities in this book. And after I went through everything, like, I found about half of them to be inaccurate on at least just Sekhmet, because of course that's the page I flipped to. And just some of the info's wrong. Like, they have her associated with the moon, not the sun. They mention she carries a scepter, but they don't mention that it's the wasp scepter or anything like that. So I don't think they actually did too much research on her. It's more of like the general associations that most Westerners have of Sekhmet, being the lion-headed aspect and having the golden tan colored skin and brown eyes. That's like Western ideas of the lion-headed goddess. But she's not the only lion-headed goddess, and she's certainly not limited to that form. So I found it to be like half-ass researched on Egyptian deities, and I don't know, it just was not a great source of information if you're a Kemetic. So, obviously, you know, this book is not for me or anybody who identifies the way that I do. But I still found it to be interesting. So, yeah, I just thought I'd share that. Now, please understand that part of the reason I did this introduction for the video is so that you understand where it is that I'm coming from, but also to warn you that I have been told, again by the same woman, that apparently sharing this book with any kind of malicious intent, there's a death curse associated with it. And you all know how I feel about that. So I'm going to share the fuck out of this. Bring it, bitch! No. I just, so that I warn all of you, you know, if you happen to believe in that sort of thing, then maybe don't watch the rest of this video. I don't know. It's kind of up to you on that part. But I only showed the cover and the one page of Sekhmet just to be safe, you know? Don't want to scare any of my viewers. So, yeah, go ahead and enjoy the video. Nini everyone, Zabora here. So check this out. I actually got asked to do a review on this book. It's an introduction to Demonic Magick by, I guess Alex Went is a contributing member of this book, or contributing author of this book. So they asked me to review it, and I was like, of course, happily I'll do it. The reason why they asked me is that there are some Egyptian gods listed to work with. So I started going through the book, and I'm like, okay, so I don't know much about Lucifarianism, and that's what this book is Lucifarianism. So I was thinking about asking a friend of mine to actually look at it, because he is more familiar with the Abrahamic faith and their magics and all of that. So I was going to ask Azrael to see if maybe it's okay if I could show him and get like his take on it. But I decided against that only because I've read a couple pages of it, and I was like, okay, it's definitely not for me. And then I went to Sekhmet, who is one of the demons mentioned, and I became instantly upset. And so I was like, nope, we're just gonna go ahead and just do this book review. So in the book, the author states that what their beliefs is that there is the god or gods, or one single entity or whatever, and then you had the opposite, Lucifer, who was the brother. Now they do tie in Judeo-Christian ideas and the thoughts of Jesus and stuff like that, and heaven and hell, but it's not my belief, and it's certainly not Kemetic belief, not really. So that's their take on Luciferianism. I'm not sure if that's like actually Luciferianism. From my understanding, they believe in an actual devil, but it's like the Judeo-Christian devil, sort of like what this author was getting at. But that might be my own ignorance here coming through, so I'm not entirely sure about that. So anyway, this is the page that I scrolled to, Sekhmet, page 281. Now, I'm not going to show you any more of this book, as this is, I don't know if this is under publication or copyright. It's probably under copyright. I think I did read that earlier. But I just want to show this one page here, as they did ask me to go ahead and review this. So, Sekhmet. They even have a pronunciation guide underneath it, Sekmet. Technically, that's not correct. The pronunciation would have been Sekhmet with an A. That is the proper way you would have pronounced the first glyph of her name, Sa, S-A. You hear it sometimes in my chants and stuff, Sa, Sekem, Sahu. It's Sa. So it would have been Sekhmet, not Sekhmet. Just a weird little thing to be aware of. I know I say Sekhmet. It's just force of habit, I guess. Cause mass destruction to an individual or group of people. Oh yeah, she definitely does that. Assists in the healing of physical conditions. Oh yeah, that's her too. Can help make one an expert of divination, tarot, and astrology. Okay, no, not so much. Tarot was definitely not a thing of ancient Egypt. I use tarot today in a modern sense, but it wasn't through Sekhmet that I would associate the tarot with. Given that Tahuti is the god of writing and Sachet, his wife, would be the goddess of wisdom, I would associate the tarot with one of them over Sekhmet. Now, astrology most certainly was linked in ancient Egypt, so that could have been any number of deities, but given that astrology would have been the study of the heavens and the skies, I would say that would be linked with Nut, as she is the sky goddess. My opinion. Now, divination in ancient Egypt would have varied and looked different in many different forms. You would have found divination in many forms in ancient Egypt. The most common being a non-priestly person would have been to approach a procession that housed a god in a shrine box and ask it a question. And if the statue became heavy, the bearers of the shrine box would have to kneel because the weight of the god's answer just became too much to hold up. So basically you get a yes if the priests decide to kneel or not. And if it's a no, then they won't kneel. So I would maybe associate divination more with like Amun-Ra, as this was a common practice with his processions. My opinion. Can provide insights on your past and future. Again, that's sort of like divination. Maybe you could have found some insights on your past with Sekhmet. I don't know. That's not an association I would have given her. Can help gain revenge on someone who has done wrong towards you or a loved one. Yes. Cause an individual to be plagued with bad luck and misfortune. Yes. Can help you provide for your family. Sure, I guess, given that she's a lion-headed aspect, you could associate the female lion with the provider of the family. But that's more of a lion aspect and not a Sekhmet aspect. The lion in ancient Egypt would have been strength and not bringing home the bacon. Can help one protect themselves and family. Yes. Can help heal mental disorders and calm anxieties. Sure, in a way, but I would never prescribe Sekhmet over seeing a doctor, although her healers in ancient times were the most renowned surgeons. Can help one find their path. So the way I found mine was actually through a meditative exercise. And I tell people this all the time. I got smacked in the back of the head with a 2x4 labeled mine, wielded by the goddess Sekhmet. So yeah, in a way she can help you find your path, only if it leads to her and the ancient Egyptian pantheon. A lot of people say that like Bast, Sekhmet, and the Anubis will lead people to the Egyptian gods, but they are never the main deity that's focused on. I'll have you know that Sekhmet very, very much is keeping me. She's definitely my patron, and I don't really see the need to go anywhere else. Except on a few things, more devious things, in which case I have Set. But for the most part, she of 10,000 names is all I need. So yeah, in a way, she can help you find your path. Gender, female. So I did a video on this before, where Sekhmet, when she gets linked to Mut, and then Mut gets linked to Min, and then you have this weird combo deity that's neither male nor female, but is definitely Sekhmet and also definitely has a giant penis. So there's definitely some fluidity there on gender. My opinion. 7 feet tall. I have no idea where you pulled that from. Black hair, brown eyes, deep tan skin. So that could be like more modern interpretations of her. More ancient associations of Sekhmet would have been statues, basalt statues, and carvings in the 18th dynasty especially, where they began, instead of carving their a light etching and then painting it, they were doing the deeper carvings and stuff like that. I'll throw a picture up of it. There you go. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this is more of a modern interpretation with her coloring, or if this comes from ancient times, but that's pretty much your basic associations. Broad-shouldered. Again, I'm not really sure if this is like a personal interaction you've had with her, or if it's just the presence itself, but, you know, whatever. Wears long golden wrap skirt and a golden bustier. No. That's not traditional Kemetic clothing. And gold may be a color sacred to the gods because their skin was gold. But her color's red. And she wears a red dress. It's an Egyptian dress. So it's not so much a wrapped skirt and a separate bustier type piece. This seems like someone had a dream and they were of Sekhmet and that's what they were wearing. I don't know. But that's not traditional. Carries a golden staff. So you don't know what a wasp scepter is? I'm sorry, I'm getting like really irritated at this point because you can just see a lot of the inconsistencies are like right here at the bottom. I don't know if they just didn't do any research on her at all, or they just claimed to have channeled an entity that was Sekhmet, or they just included her as a way to sell this book. But here we go. Offerings. Pendant. Okay, sure, yeah, I give jewelry all the time. Blood. No, blood is unclean, and it really was not something that was tolerated in the inner sanctums of Egypt, as far as we know. Although there have been those that have claimed otherwise, that people go to temples to cleanse themselves of their moon cycles. Women go to temple to cleanse themselves of their cycles after their cycles, is what my opinion is. But some people say during their cycles they have to become ritually pure because of the nastiness of the bleeding, I guess. So I don't know, you could argue blood, but I would not offer blood. I would not offer Sekhmet any blood because of her bloodlust. We all know the story of Sekhmet destroying mankind, right? Bloodlust. Jade? Not so much Jade. Jade would not have been available to ancient Egyptians, as far as I know. Ivory. Sure, could have been elephant ivory, but more than likely would have been hippo ivory. Hippo ivory would have been associated with healing. I could see ivory. Arrowheads? Okay. Knives? Not so much knives. Her son would have been the knife wielder. Foreign currency? Most certainly not. Set is the god of foreigners, foreign lands. He had foreign wives. That's not Sekhmet. Beer? Pomegranate juice. Definitely apt. Jezebel oil? No. Keys? No. Crystal items? Well, who doesn't like crystals? Rose quartz? Not so much rose quartz. I would have gone with like carnelian. Polished agate? Sure, polished agate can be pretty. Moon-related items? Oh, God, no. God, no. She is a solar deity, not a lunar deity. Moon-related items? Bullshit. Colors? Gold? Sure. Yellow? Okay. Champagne gold? It's still gold. Black? I would have gone with red. Turquoise? The stone turquoise, most definitely. The color? Maybe. Turquoise would have been linked to Sekhmet through Hetert. When Ra threw down his eye, who was Hetert, it burned away as it came to Earth and became Sekhmet. All the rage was left and it personified itself as Sekhmet and destroyed mankind. So that's where turquoise comes from. Scent. Coffee. No. Java pepper. No. Lavender. Maybe. Floral. Man, no. Kanuka. No. Vanilla? No. Jezebel? No. No mention of myrrh. No mention of frankincense. No mention of honey or grapes or wine or anything like that. Little off. More than a little off. I don't know where they're pulling these associations. I really don't. It's not right for historical references. It's not historically accurate here. So yeah, that's my book review. Kind of worried about the rest of this book. I did download it. I'm going to check out some of the other gods, but if this is the kind of info we can expect, it's not accurate. That's it for tonight, guys. Sanapte.